everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Let's Talk Teens. I, of course, am your host, Dr. Kela. This week, I am interviewing my sister, Anetra Henry, of whom I am very proud. So we are continuing my month of interviewing women in various career fields. My sister is the Senior Director of Strategic Initiatives at IPR, which is the Institute for Public Relations. Hey, sis, thanks for coming on Let's Talk Teens.
Hey, sis, thanks for having me.
All right, well, let's start out with the first question. Can you please explain to everybody what exactly it is that you do?
Sure. So, what I do, I'm gonna break this up a little bit into like the overarching thing. So, the Institute for Public Relations, we basically do research for the fields of communications, public relations, and related fields, of which marketing is one. So it is about providing as many tools as possible to help those that have to communicate with stakeholders the most factual and best information about things that will impact their ability to communicate in a timely manner, in an effective and factual manner, and make those decisions that impact whatever their field is. So whatever their sector is. So there are communicators, marketers, as you know, in every field, in medicine, in businesses of all type, even in nonprofits. The Institute for Public Relations is a nonprofit, and we are 67 years old this year.
Oh.
Now, about my career and what I do for the Institute on a daily basis. I have some overarching themes in my role as the senior director. One of those is research. I typically work on qualitative research. So there are two types of research: quantitative, which you all think of all the times. You probably get a survey after you've ordered something from maybe DoorDash or whatever to rate, tell us what you think, those kinds of things. And there's quantitative. And so think focus groups, when you might get stopped out at a shopping center and someone says, hey, would you like to try this product and give us more detailed thoughts and opinions? I typically work on the qualitative side of research. So those in-depth interviews, focus groups, but I also do work with surveys. Another thing that I'm responsible for are our diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives at the Institute for Public Relations. So that looks like on a daily basis. Earlier today, I was on an episode. We actually didn't film an episode of an initiative that we call DPRC, or Diversity in the PR Classroom, where we talk about different issues that impact the relationship between professors, students, and practitioners as students maneuver between those two worlds, either in academia or going out into agency, into business, and beginning to work. So yeah, those are some of the major things that I do. I also am responsible, since we're a nonprofit, for helping to raise money for the Institute. So I create the sponsorship packages. I negotiate contracts with sponsors. And I make sure that they, in conjunction with the team, have a great experience as a sponsor, so they want to come back year after year and spend their money and receive their benefits with us. So those are some of the main three categories of things that I take care of at the Institute.
Now, in terms of the training and education needed for your career, is a college degree required? And if so, do you recommend going further than a bachelor's degree?
So I would say yes, that a college degree, most people have one. And to do communications, to do public relations, to do marketing. Now, I will share with your audience that I do not have a communications degree or public relations degree. I am a marketer by trade. I have a marketing degree, and it's a related field because there's a lot of overlap between communications, marketing, and public relations. You don't have to go higher than a bachelor's, But most of the ones that are in the C-suite, those that are most successful at breaking out and owning their own PR communications or marketing agency that is either national or global, I noticed that they tend to have masters or above. So it is recommended. I would also recommend after you got your bachelor's, if you decide that you don't want to pursue your master's for whatever reason, there are accreditations that you can get at the bachelor's level, one of them being an APR, which I'm preparing to pursue, that help to keep you in line with the ethics and just the evolution of the roles of PR people,
What does
communication
APR
people.
stand for? Sorry.
Accredited public relations professional. That's basically what it stands for. Yeah. So there are other things, like I have a certification in diversity, equity, inclusion. And I continue to stay on top of that and follow the trends and those kinds of things. So if you decide not to go above bachelor's, I highly recommend that you continue to pursue accreditations that are related and certifications that are related so that you can stay on top of the trends and remain agile and cutting edge in the field.
Now, when did you know you wanted to be in the marketing space?
That's a great question, sis. So this goes back to our grandmother, spending time with my aunt. When I was feigning to be sick a lot as a child. I highly do not recommend that for you teen girls that are listening. But when I was growing up, I didn't like school a whole lot. I liked learning a whole lot, but I didn't necessarily like people. And that's interesting to see where my career trajectory has gone. And so I would get my mom, convince my mother to come pick me up from school. I was sick a whole lot as a kid. And my landing space would be at our grandmother's house, who we affectionately refer to as my
Mhm.
And one of the things that I began to be able to watch while she was taking care of me was Bewitched. And I'm dating myself here, but on Bewitched, one of the main characters, the husband named Darren, worked in advertising.
I remember
And
that show.
yes, so Darren's character impressed me and made a lasting impression on me because what I saw in this show, while he had a wife that had magical powers, he had a mother-in-law that hated him, he had a boss that constantly pressured him. Darren never lost his talent or his passion for his work. And with that, he was always being creative, coming up with different things. I saw how to handle clients who loved him, clients who didn't like his work. And also, there was an element of the social aspect. With Bewitched, that was originally filmed like in the late 60s, there were Black people that lived in their neighborhood that you didn't see on other shows. And they didn't make them stand out like they were less than, like they were charity case. They positioned them like they belonged there. They were at their parties. People were dressing up. They had this beautiful home. And so that was just impressive to me. And it made me want to pursue something along those lines, to be able to have all of these different things thrown at you and to see Darren just navigate through them, not flawlessly, not effortlessly. He always got angry a little bit, was a little bit miffed, but his work never suffered. He did what he was supposed to do. And that said to me that he was maybe, if I had language then, that he was operating in his calling. So that's when I knew I wanted to do something along those lines. And now that kind of lifestyle that I saw align with how I envisioned myself at this stage in my life.
Okay. So now, sis, we've all heard the phrase, there's levels to this.
Mm-hmm.
What are the levels in your industry?
Well, level one is deciding that this is what you want to do.
Okay.
I would say I would start there, following the educational pursuits to to be where you want to be. After that level, it's the work. And the work is going to look like or feel like grunt work. You're going to do press releases. You're going to do writing. If you're talking about communications and PR side, on the marketing side, so many people associate marketing with sales. And so they may put you into a sales position. And like me, I excelled at sales, but I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it, to be able to maybe go into a living where I have to make a living off of selling all the time. From there, you work your way up. And sometimes it's always going to look like taking on more responsibility. If you're on the agency side in PR and comms and marketing, if you're on the agency side of this at all, it's going to look like becoming an account manager where you take on more responsibility. You are also the go-to person for your client, and really understanding what their needs are and being able to manage and your support team and deliver on time. After that, it becomes wide open what you want to do, whether you want to go into corporate, whether you want to remain in agency, where you want to take an entrepreneurial route. Sometimes for communications marketing people, it's a particular sector that inspires them. So they'll want to stay in medicine, they'll want to stay in retail, they'll want to stay in biotech or something along those lines. And so the level would be growing to a new position at a different organization that may be a little bit larger, a little bit more financially stable or successful, something along those lines. So those are I would say, the levels to this. And then the other key point along those levels is service. So I really want to touch on, it's no longer enough to just work and do good work. Making sure that you have the opportunity to not only join a professional association, like there's the American Marketing Association, of which I've been a board member before, PRSA, which is Public Relations Society of America. There are a number of professional associations and organizations that you can join and be served by, because their output, their conferences, their emails provide a lot of direction and support and opportunity. It's not just enough to join those organizations and receive from them. You need to serve. You need to serve. And that will help catapult your trajectory around success and climbing the ladder. I can definitely pinpoint being involved with my sorority, being involved with AMA and serving on the board has helped increase my exposure, my level of confidence, my level of knowledge in these particular fields. And it makes it easy for me to maneuver and get the things that I need to get. If I want a new job, a lot of times that's a phone call.
Mhm.
It's not having to submit through these portals, but those relationships are not built when you're only receiving from an organization. It's when you're giving back to them.
Excellent. And that's a good thing for any young ladies who are listening to hear. So
Yes.
it's definitely a two-way street.